districts. And so when the issue came up, and I made my position known in the caucus, there was a lot of angst, to say the least. After a short discussion, I went to the mic and I withdrew the issue, took it off the table. But I said to the caucus at that time that we're going to revisit this next year. And when we do, we are not going to take this same position. We are going to get this issue to a resolution. Now, a few people came up to me afterwards, and they wanted to know why I had done that, because they felt that there were enough votes in the room for me to prevail. Well, I did it because no one felt that anything was going to move in the Senate last year. We knew very well that no matter what we did with that bill in the House, it was not going to move in the Senate. And so why do that to my members? So I took it off the table and let the bill go without it. And of course, as we all knew would be the case, it went over to whatever the burial ground that exists over there in the Senate. And so here we are. We all went out to the American people. We had a national election. We had what turned out to be a very historical election. And we are now, I believe if the numbers I got around 1:30 a.m. this morning are correct, we are now back to 257 on the Democratic side in the House. The special election took place in California, and yesterday I think yielded what we expected. So we are back to 257, and we need 218. We now have a president who has appointed a Secretary of Energy, a secretary that comes out of the nuclear world, a secretary who during his confirmation hearing, I don't know if any of you watched it, I did. It was the only confirmation hearing that I watched. I had interest in the rest of them, but because of the strong feeling I have for the national security issues that we are confronted with in this country, because of the strong feelings that I have for cleaning up the environment that we must leave to our children and grandchildren, and because of the strong feeling I have for creating new economies in our great country. My state, while generating more than 50% of its energy from nuclear, is also number 2 in this country in unemployment. And so I have a very strong feeling about what we need to do going forward. And so I was very interested in the positions of our new Secretary of Energy. And just after my meeting with Carol Browner, I sat down with the Secretary of Energy. And I think that it's safe for me to say we're on the same page when it comes to this industry. And so in addition to creating this title in the bill, I want you to know that we have been working with your representatives, and we've come to what I consider to be a pretty good agreement on renewable electricity standards, one that recognizes our regional differences. I tell people all the time in South Carolina, when it comes to energy, we're going to create just enough wind to mess up a good golf shot. That's about it. In fact, so I'm not looking to win to do it for me. I know where our share of this is coming from. And so I made it very clear in our caucus that these regional differences needed to be honored, and I'm very pleased that they've done that. And so you all are going to go through all the numbers and figure out how we get there by 2020 and further down the road. But I also want to mention some of you were in the room about a month ago when we held a bipartisan breakfast with the Nuclear Issues Working Group, a group co-chaired by John Spratt of South Carolina and Zach Wamp of Tennessee. We all gathered in a room. I don't know what I expected over there at the Library of Congress, but the room was, people were standing around the walls. And when I listened to the testimony or the presentations from the panel, two members of the panel came from the labor community. Their strong support for the job creation that could come from this industry. They spoke passionately, not just about job creation, but the careers that could be developed from this. I don't know if all of you are aware of this or not, but I represent 7 HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, in my district. I'm a graduate of one, and in the last 35 years, there have been one nuclear engineering degree approved for whatever you call it when you get accreditation. Only one. And that one has been an HBCU, South Carolina State University, of which I'm a graduate. And